Stadium in North London. Welcome to ESPN's coverage of Brazil versus Scotland. Mark Donaldson alongside former English Premier League midfielder Robbie Mustoe. Guest of honour, Ronaldo, the leading scorer in FIFA World Cup history. Planes, trains and automobiles have all been used to transport an estimated 35,000 members of the Tartan Army here to the home of Arsenal FC. A modern-day Highland clearances, if you like. But with more than 130,000 Brazilians living in London, Mano Menezes' team will have more than enough support of their own. Guest of honour, Ronaldo, just how good was he, Robbie?
Well, he's one of the best ever strikers to play the game. There's no question about that. He's done it at the highest level. He's played for some of the biggest teams around Europe. Real Madrid, Inter Milan, AC Milan, Barcelona. A magnificent striker with all the gifts, really. Pace, with power, a fantastic step over, phenomenal striker.
And friends, with most of these, it's the next big things. The young guns of Brazil against Scotland, next on ESPN.
The ATP World Tour Masters 1000 leaves the California desert and heads to one of the most anticipated stops on the tour, the Sony Ericsson Open. All of the top 10 ranked men of the ATP lead an amazing field in the sizzling South Beach sun. The Sony Ericsson Open continues live tonight on ESPN.
Opening day. It's when the new year really begins. This isn't Flag Day, this is ridiculously huge Flag Day. It's more presidential than President's Day. This is the day that fathers wish was their day. This is Christmas, but Santa has a black beard and delivers presents nobody wants.
I wrapped it myself.
On baseball's biggest stage, this is the anniversary no one ever forgets.
Opening day, March 31st on ESPN2.
National pride takes the field as some of the world's best gear up for a friendly test.
Persistence paying off.
Don't miss Ireland, Uruguay, live Wednesday on ESPN2.
Are you a big fan of cricket? Then log on to ESPN's cricinfo.com, the place to go for everything from the world of cricket. Current series, countries, live scores, results, news, features and more. Check out the perfect site for fans and follow all day long. ESPN's cricinfo.com. It's a keeper.
Did the road towards Euro 2012 get just a little clearer for the likes of England, Ireland, Italy and Spain? Join us for a full hour as we break down all the qualifying action on the next ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass. Andrew Orsatti, Shaka Hislop and Gab Marcotti on board.
Play ESPNU Collegetown at BeTheDean.com and put your school on the map. ESPNU Collegetown. Build it, run it, beat your friends.
Craig Levein feels this is Scotland's best chance of a first ever victory over Brazil. Time will tell if he's proved right. Brazil have lost their last two friendly internationals against France and Argentina. They haven't lost 3 in a row for 10 years. Kenny Miller, the Scotland captain, trying to get himself involved in the early stages, wants a free kick and gets it from Howard Webb. The challenge from Lucio. The two captains colliding.
Well, Scotland have won their last 2 games, so maybe we are going to get an upset here. A good free kick here and a good position for Scotland. Lucio just a little bit too aggressive on Kenny Miller.
Fond memories of Scotland. Lucio reached the Champions League final with Bayer Leverkusen at Hampden in Glasgow in 2002. Julio Cesar, Serie A goalkeeper of the year for the last 2 years running. We know what Charlie Adam is capable of from a dead ball. We've seen it so often for Blackpool. The Scotland players into the box are only there for show. Adam into the wall. This is Stephen Craney. Made his debut for Scotland back in 2002 in Bertie Vogt's first game in charge. 5-0 drubbing in Paris. Santos in for Marcelo, Real Madrid fullback, injuring his hip in training on Friday. What can Brazil learn from this game, apart from the fact that Scott Brown's rather feisty?
Well, I think, as you said, it's a competitive game. They've got a long period of time before they play the next European qualifier. And it's almost, you know, nothing to lose, isn't it, against Brazil? Such a fantastic history and a great team. They've got plenty of fans here to support them. I'd like to see them have a little bit of a go, Mark. I have to say, I don't want to see Scotland defending too much. It's a friendly match. They can have a go at being a little bit more expansive. Obviously, they've got Charlie Adam, who's going to be the main player in midfield to knock the ball around, but he's got to have targets. He's got to have players in front of him to receive these passes. So I hope the likes of James Morrison, James McArthur probably from midfield as well, will make those forward runs.
Ramirez with the challenge on Alan Hutton, the quickly taken free kick. Kenny Miller. Blocked by Thiago Silva. Miller now in Turkey playing his football at Bursaspor. Scott Brown. Challenged well by Ramirez. But a bright opening to this game from Scotland. First real opportunity for the Brazilians. Ramirez. Step over from Neymar. Lucas Leiva, so much improvement in him since the arrival of Kenny Dalglish at Liverpool. Dani Alves. Milano dispossessed by the other number 7, Charlie Adam. This is Stephen Whittaker. Mistake from Charlie Adam. Neymar. Watched well by Gary Caldwell. Danger still not clear just yet. And finally, Scotland get it away.
Well, that's what I was worried about. The likes of Neymar running at Gary Caldwell there inside the box. Did very well, the defender that time. He forced Neymar wide.
Which is exactly where he is right now, against Scott Brown. Lucas Leiva. Manu Menezes replaced Dunga in July. He scored 9 in 9 in the recent South American Youth Cup, Neymar. If Chelsea will come back in for him this summer.
I think there's quite a few clubs that might be in for him, Mark. I have to say, Neymar he's looked very, very talented. Played a couple of games now for Brazil. Scored 1 goal, international goal. Lively, very skillful. Might be a little concerned whether his physicality might struggle at times in the Premier League, but he's only young and I'm sure he's got time to develop and grow and get used to that type of intensity. Actually playing more on the left-hand side. It looks like a 4-3-3 for Brazil. Neymar on the left. Damião, the striker, the central player, the tall striker in the middle. And Jadson more on the right-hand side of a 3.
An all-English Premier League central midfield for Brazil. Ramirez at Chelsea, and he's come on in the second half of the season as well. Intercepted by Stephen Craney.
I think what Craig Levein wants to see his team do as well is pass the ball. Let's get some possession going here. We know these balls are on for Charlie Adam. Good run from Whittaker.
This is Stephen Craney, Blackpool. Everything will go through Scotland. That's the direct message from Craig Levein. It's Adam to be involved whenever possible. Just overhitting the diagonal left. Craig Levein, the Scotland coach, replaced George Burley in December 2009. Started off his managerial career at Cowdenbeath in Scotland, who were nicknamed the Blue Brazil.
Well, I think he's doing a very good job, I have to say. I know it's a very difficult job trying to get Scotland to qualify for a major tournament.
Something they haven't done since 1998 in France, the opening game they played Brazil. Lost by 2-1. Foul on Jadson. Can look forward to Champions League quarter-final action with Shakhtar Donetsk against Barcelona.
Oh, the samba rhythm coming out from the Emirates Stadium now. Haven't seen any samba rhythm on the pitch yet so far for Brazil. Haven't really got into any rhythm as yet.
It's good from Neymar. Run through, made by Jadson on this near side, cut out by McGregor. Jadson with a hand up, wanting that pass from Andre Santos, who's never forthcoming. It's another directive from Craig Levein, trying to stretch Brazil, get balls in behind, force the fullbacks to face their own goal or force the two centre-halves just to get out of position.
Oh, we've seen that already from Scotland. There's been plenty of diagonal balls. Another one there, not such good that time, but Charlie Adam has hit 2 to Stephen Whittaker on this side. A couple of times to try to get Scott Brown away as well. I think it's a good tactic. These fullbacks are so attack-minded, particularly Dani Alves on this near side. Again, he's having a magnificent season with Barcelona, just extended his contract there.
Teammates just now, Dani Alves and Jadson, seem to be in direct opposition in the Champions League. Kenny Miller. This is the problem that Scotland will have. If Kenny Miller has possession, steals it from the Brazilians, it will take a bit of time for support to arrive. This is good from the Scots, though. It's great experience as well for these players to say that they've faced Brazil.
Absolutely. It doesn't happen in many footballers' career at all to be an international, yet alone to face Brazil. So it's brilliant experience, and I like the way they've started the game. Confidence is going through Charlie Adam in midfield, obviously. James Morrison is inside him, and so is James McArthur. And those two players, as you mentioned there, when Kenny Miller gets pulled wide, has to be one of those that gets forward and fills the middle. You see there, number 11, James McArthur. He's going to be playing just ahead of Charlie Adam with that license to get forward.
4-1-4-1 formation for Scotland. Means they will get men behind the ball when Brazil are attacking. It worked in their last match against Northern Ireland in February at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin, a 3-0 win. Same formation. Webb allowing the advantage, despite the foul on Lucas Leiva. Less of a stride, more of a gallop from Lucio. Hit by Jadson. Neymar never gave up hope. A warm welcome from the Scots in the corner.
Already a couple of times now, Menezes' men just lack that little bit of quality. The final ball-in hasn't been great. We've seen Neymar busy. We haven't seen very little of Damião, and the ball there from Jadson was not good enough.
Could quite easily have been Muricy Ramalho, Fluminense sitting there. The approach by the Brazilian FA to Fluminense in July was turned down. Hence the move for Mano Menezes.
Charlie Adam here receiving the ball. At the moment, is running the game. Nobody's getting close to him for Brazil. He's had more touches than anybody else in that area.
Well by Kenny Miller, Thiago Silva. Played on Monday night for Bursaspor. Quite well since moving to Turkey in January. 4 goals in 9 games. Scotland not interested in steal possession of the Brazilians in their first third of the field. Ramirez. Santos closed down by Scott Brown. It's flipped by Neymar. 3 in the middle, now 4. A little flick of James MacArthur, proving crucial there. Dani Alves. Tying Whittaker in knots. Scotland allow these Brazilians to play. That's why Craig Levein wants them in their face. Might not be pretty to watch, but that's the only way, or one of the only ways, to try and prevent Dani Alves and his teammates from causing a bit of destruction.
Yeah, I mean, they were in the faces in that last attack, and just it was great play from Brazil down the left-hand side. André Santos linked up very nicely with Neymar, just failed on his last connection there, just trying to pick out Judson or Alano at the back post.
Alano, who scored a wonder free kick a couple of months ago for Santos, former Manchester City player.
He's kind of been one of those who's been in and out of the squad a little bit, scoring goals in Brazil right now. He's back in the thinking of the coach here. A little bit of a high foot there on MacArthur.
MacArthur's former teammate at Hamilton in Scotland, James McCarthy, winning his second cap, first competitive cap for Republic of Ireland yesterday. That means he can no longer play for Scotland. There's some hope for Craig Levein. That door now closed. Alan Hutton. It's a great ball by Ramirez. Across comes Stephen Craney. Had to be alert there. Scotland leaving themselves one-on-one at the back. Jansen. Dani Alves. Elano. Ramirez has support from André Santos. Lano's delivery. Ramirez heads over. And again, you see how difficult it is for Brazil. Scotland very narrow. Surprised if there are 1 or 2 shots from distance from the Brazilians.
Yeah, this is Ramirez with a chance to get forward. I think he'll enjoy this license. Lucas is the holding player for Brazil. Ramirez on one side of him and Elano on the other will be allowed to get forward in support of Damião. And Ramirez just starting to find some real form in the Premier League with Chelsea. I thought he had a very slow start his time in England, but he's adjusting nicely and scored a great goal in their last match. So he should be full of confidence right now, Ramirez.
Brazil have won 7 and drawn 2 of the previous 9 meetings. There's Copa America coming up for them, Argentina in the summer. So useful workout for both sides. This is André Santos. Closing down by James Morrison. Charlie Adam immediately in on Elano. Strength from André Santos. Neymar. All the flicks and tricks and then fell over. Tripped himself up. Not even he had the audacity to claim for a free kick.
Yeah, that is a shame actually, because it was a fantastic bit of skill there. Got himself away from the defending player and just slipped on this turf, but he really has looked bright. Look at this for brilliant footwork here. A couple of drag backs, change of direction, off he goes and plants his foot and it slips from underneath him. Little unlucky there, Neymar. Great skill.
He's the latest player to be dubbed the next Pele. Mainly because of his skill, but partially because he's at Pele's old club Santos. How many next Pelés have we had over the years? You ever get tagged the next Pele? Early days at Oxford United?
I wish. Yeah, I'm afraid that was never really a comparison, maybe my style of play.
André Santos. The defending by Christophe Berra against Leandro Damião. We haven't seen too much of the 21-year-old Internacional debutant.
No, we haven't, and he's going to be the lone striker, the highest striker, the player that's going to be up against the central defenders of Caldwell and Berra. So it might be a little harder for him to express himself in some ways, but he's still obviously a very important part of Brazil's attack. He's the focal point, the player that other players will try and play into for little 1-2s, etc. around the box.
He actually missed facing Brazil as a player in the 1990 World Cup, Craig Levine, because he was injured in the game before in a 2-1 win against Sweden. Beat them as a player, try and beat them as a manager. Neymar. Feet by Ramirez. Milano. Again, a blue and white wall facing the Brazilians. Won't be too happy at the fact he had 2 Brazilians on him, including Dani Alves. Jadson, Shakhtar Donetsk. Lucas Leiva of Liverpool. Run made by Jadson. First chance, spilled by McGregor and mopped up by Charlie Adam.
Well, all of a sudden, Brazil have just clicked into another gear. Got to be careful, Scotland here as well, and they're trying to play out. The pressure is there from Brazil.
First proper look at goal from Brazil. Jadson unable to add to his goal tally for the season with Shakhtar. Yet to score for Brazil. Lucas Leiva.
Just that step up in pace of the passing, isn't it, that's so impressive for Brazil when they get in that final third.
Onside chance for Brazil, away by Craney. Christophe Berra wondering why there wasn't an offside flag. Steve Childs is the assistant on this near side. That's the reason why there wasn't an offside flag, Christophe, because he was onside.
Yeah, and I'm not sure where Stephen Craney, we saw Craney there taking the ball away, but he's very narrow, allowing all that space for Jadson. Stephen Whittaker is playing the left-hand side of midfield. He isn't playing as a left-back. Craney's got to find his position.
Header off the bar and over. The closest Brazil have come. The corner kick by Elano and Leandro Damião off the bar.
Wow, what a header, what a jump this is. Look at the height he gets there, miles above everybody else there, and all of a sudden he's introduced himself in this game, Damião. Obviously that's part of his game. Really should do a little better with the header after getting such a great leap on the ball.
He's a man in form, 13 goals in his last 9 games, including 3 hat-tricks. He's talented on the ground, the 21-year-old, but also, at times, potent in the air. Just not that time. After a bright start, 20 minutes gone, Brazil comfortable in possession. Brazil's World Tour on ESPN. Mark Donaldson alongside Robbie Mustoe.
Well, the game now has the flow that I think most people expected, that Brazil would be controlling possession. Scotland would be having a good shape and just trying to defend deeply.
Neymar against Hutton. Ramirez. They didn't know too much about Neymar before, the Scotland players. They'll know all about him afterwards. Some tartan tammies on show. A Sporran Legion, if you like.
Well, a fantastic bunch of supporters. In fact, both sets are, aren't they? You see there the samba music of the Brazilians and the incredible passion that Scottish fans show towards Scottish football. Desperate for their team to be in a major tournament.
With an estimated 130,000 Brazilians living in and around London, they're certainly not short of support as well. Andre Santos from Fenerbahce is playing more like a left winger. He's away again. Neymar. just taking it off the head of Dani Alves. Do you see a similarity, Robbie, between the formation that Barcelona like to play with the two fullbacks pushing up and the one that Brazil have adopted as well, with a Barcelona fullback among them?
Yeah, there is. I mean, it's a very similar setup in midfield, particularly Ramirez and Lallana. I think Neymar, apart from his skills and apart from his creativity, what he's doing, and it's given Scotland a big problem, is he's coming in and deep from that left-hand side. Now, the midfield of Scotland have all got a man each. They can feel quite happy in their shape, but when Neymar drops deep, you know, it's up to Alan Hutton, and he's not going to want to come all the way in there, and it's just giving a little outboard for Neymar. Here he is again, just popping into those little spaces in between the lines, the defensive line and the midfield line.
Brazil just upped the tempo in the last couple of minutes. Lucas Leiva. Dani Alves. Movement was excellent from Jadson. Elano. Off Craney, and Brazil get their second corner from their first. Leandro Damião hitting the bar.
You know, good sides have a way, a knack of outnumbering their opponents in certain areas of the pitch, and I think Brazil have taken them maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes to figure it out here, but that's what they're doing right now. They're outnumbering Scotland in certain areas.
Lano's delivery. Away by Gary Caldwell. Second opportunity for the former Manchester City midfielder. Just wonder how much Leandro Damião was put off by Thiago Silva behind him.
Yeah, I think Thiago Silva's probably screaming at Damião to leave the ball. He's in a better situation here. He's not marked. Here he comes watching behind Damião there. I'll tell you, sometimes all this music and the cheering going on from the supporters, it's hard to make yourself heard there. You can see the frustration from Silva.
First international call-up at any level. Brazil, of course, without Alex Pato with an ankle problem, who hopes to be back for the Milan derby on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players or strikers that you'd normally associate with Brazil that aren't available for different reasons. Pato Nilmar is another player who has been playing great for Villarreal, is injured. Obviously, Robinho has been left out of this game. Kaká, Fabiano, maybe he's out of the picture now as well. So, not that many familiar faces.
An opening for Brazil. Neymar down under the challenge of Whittaker. Ramirez with the effort blocked by Caldwell. Neymar may need some attention.
I'm not sure whether Howard Webb didn't think this was a free kick or he allowed the advantage. Here it is, here again, Neymar coming inside. A little bit of contact there, in my opinion, from Hutton, but it's played on. Caldwell fails to clear the ball correctly, and it fell to Ramirez. I hope he's okay, because he's been a real star so far in this game. To go off, I think, get a little bit of treatment, maybe.
Physio not in attendance, so Neymar allowed to stay on. Challenge from Hutton, and then by Brown. Third corner, Brazil. Fifth best team in the world, according to the FIFA rankings. That's Brazil, by the way, not Scotland.
But what are Scotland in the rankings?
50. And if they lose this, they go down to 61st. Third corner well dealt with by Charlie Adam. Scott Brown. It's the throw. I think it's a matter of time before we see Neymar in the English Premier League, but even Pele's waited in for Brazil and said he needs to stay in Brazil for another year or two just to bulk up, get a bit more strength, make sure he's ready for the English Premier League and its rigours before he moves there.
Yeah, and it's not, you know, it might not just be the Premier League clubs that are looking at him. I'm sure there's other teams from different countries looking at him, but I think Pele might be right there. I think, you know, why not? He's only 19, Neymar. He's got plenty of time ahead of him. Wherever he feels is the right place for him to develop, to grow as a person. Only a young man right now. Maturity is always an issue when you move away from your country, so I think the great striker, the great one, is probably correct about that.
Here he is, just 19 years old, Neymar. With a space for Elano on this right-hand side. Lucas Leiva. Wasn't tracked by Whittaker. Opportunity for the Brazilians right across the face of goal. And there was an opportunity there for us, another own goal. Scotland, through Tom Boyd, with an own goal in 1998, nearly putting through their own net again.
Well, a little misunderstanding here from Scotland at the back there. Stephen Whittaker assumes that Crane is going to take the runner. He didn't take the runner. He had to do that. He got in behind here, Lucas. Plenty of options, just tries to fizz it across the centre there, hoping that somebody will come in and bundle it over the line. Great chance for Brazil that time.
Could have gone anywhere off Gary Caldwell. It's good pressing by Scott Brown on Andre Santos. Penalised. Policeman Howard Webb. He's been on extended leave for quite some time now. Still holds a sergeant's post with South Yorkshire Police. Can't see him going back to his day job. Dani Alves. Lucas Leiva. Santos has made the run to the left. Jansen through for Dani Alves. Well, strikers probably would have been greedy in that situation. Dani Alves isn't a striker. Electing for the pass, not quite coming off.
Well, you talked about similarities to Barcelona, maybe just there overplaying a tad. He's in here in goal, inside right position, pull the trigger. He's just trying to be a little bit too cute, in my opinion, there and playing Damião. If it comes off, it looks great, obviously. But again, a wasted opportunity for Brazil. Here's another look at that situation there. Off the hand, isn't it, of Caldwell, but he knows nothing about it.
They have been stretched and pulled apart. Like a bad jumper at times. The Scottish defence. They do have an excuse. It is Brazil they're playing. A couple of games coming up in May for Scotland. The Carling Nations Cup in Dublin against the Republic of Ireland and Wales. And then the Czech Republic and Lithuania in September. Two must-win games in Group I. Spain winning 2-1 against the Czech Republic on Friday. I know it's a game you covered for ESPN. And it was nervy at times for the Spaniards who went a goal down, but they came through.
Yeah, they did, and the quality came through in the end. David Villa really stepped up. Fernando Torres came into the game as well and made a difference. Here we see again this chance here, and Dani Alves, I mean, he's got decisions to make, but he's got time to pull his foot back and strike that ball at the goal. He just tries to pull it back here.
Just when the ball was played to the right, on the left-hand side, Neymar was just caught a little bit late by Scott Brown. Didn't look as though it was intentional from Brown. It's just on the follow-through, and that's what hurt Neymar. He's been in the wars.
Yeah, he has. He had a knock on the knee, and now the side of the face here, in the cheekbone area. I'm sure he'll be fine. Difficult, isn't it, Craig Levine? Very difficult as a coach to try and organise your players to stop this pressure.
You don't want to be too defensive, because he went 4-6-0 and was derided for that in Prague against the Czech Republic in a qualifier. Lost 1-0. Probably the only manager in history not to name a striker. And that is easy to do in this game, because you know you're not going to see too much of the ball.
There's a couple of ways of looking at it, Mark. I always think you can, you know, and he might, you know, just try and stop Brazil playing. You know, try and block up all the areas, get tight here, fill the spaces, fill the passing lanes, or it can be a little bit more adventurous and maybe put another forward up there and give Brazil a little bit more to think about, so Scotland can enjoy a bit more territory in the game, because at the moment they're playing a game pretty much in their own half.
Neymar has recovered for the second time. Sure, there will be more attempts to win the ball off Neymar. Result in an injury. Ramirez penalised. He's had an excellent second half of the season, Ramirez at Chelsea.
Yeah, I just think sometimes, you know, if you're a team and you're too concerned about stopping the opponents, then they haven't got anything to worry about with you. They haven't got to worry about defensively anything at all. They just have to figure out how to break down, you know, the two lines of defence, if you like.
Just over half an hour gone at the Emirates Stadium in London. Brazil 0, Scotland 0 on ESPN. Mark Donaldson alongside Robbie Mustoe. Best chance of the game after 20 minutes. Leandro Damião's header from Elano's corner, glancing off the top of the crossbar. And over. Jadson, after 18 minutes, the shot was well saved. David Luiz, the hair-bear bunch. Back right, new signing for Chelsea. Used to be the case that all the Brazilians came over to Europe with talented forwards, and now we're seeing talented defenders coming over.
Yeah, we really are. Mike on the back row there again is an outstanding right back for Brazil. Luis Sao, another central defender. So the stars really of the recent times have been the defenders right now. They want, you know, they need a Neymar, they need a Damião, they need somebody else. Ganzo is another player that's been mentioned who's just still recovering from a knee operation. They need the next bunch of superstar players in Brazil.
Dani Alves. Really read that pass well. For 12 months it's been for Stephen Craney. The championship with Blackpool. 12 months later playing in the English Premier League and then representing his country once again. Winning his 8th cap against Brazil. Possession stats at halftime could be interesting.
There he goes again, Neymar, coming deep. This time, Alan Hutton's gone all the way in there with him to stop him turning on the ball.
Plenty of time for Lucas Leiva. I think Dani Alves had an aversion to being in his own half the few times he spends there. Neymar. Bodies flying in from Scotland in an attempt to stop the 19-year-olds. Struggling to get it clear. That's better. Craney. James Morrison evades Dani Alves. The first time, not the second time.
Well, that's really, really good play from Scotland, initially defensively on the edge of their own box, and this is what they have to do. They have to find a way of getting out, of getting past that pressure. And normally it's a piece of individual play there. That time it was from James Morrison. Here's the tackle on the edge of the box.
Which one?
I know, Charlie Adam initially, and then Gary Caldwell after that. But this is the player that's just eased the pressure for Scotland, give those defenders a little bit of a break.
Morrison with a gash above his head, played against Arsenal last week and suffered the injury. James Morrison actually won here for West Brom against Arsenal, 3-2 at the Emirates in September. They're unlikely to get too many opportunities in this match, Scotland. From set pieces, they have to make them count. Peter Houston, Kenny Black and Craig Levine. Watch on, the glancing header, and not too far away by Stephen Whittaker.
Well, we always talk about set pieces being important, and in all fairness, it's important to teams that aren't dominating the game, and it's going to be the case here in this match, Scotland against Brazil. Good balling, isn't it? There's no question about that, and Scotland players are attacking that box in all different areas. Whittaker can't really get enough on the ball to send it into one of the corners, but yes, it is going to be important because their general playing quality isn't going to be enough to open up Brazil that many times, you'd think.
Whittaker, who was sent off in the latter stages of the 3-2 defeat to Spain at Hampden, Scotland's best chance of the game so far. Dani Alves. Craney thought about the challenge. Look at the space that Brazil are getting just by dropping deep. Challenge that was from Gary Caldwell, and had to be.
It's these areas here that Scotland are struggling. That's where there's sometimes an argument for another forward mark to play up there with Kenny Miller to try and receive some of the balls when they do actually get it back from Brazil.
Retention hasn't been really great from Scotland. That's when they've had the ball. Again, Dani Alves, always an option for Lucas Leiva. Andres Santos continues his run from left back. Crescendo of noise increases every time Brazil get into the final third. And that's just the groans from the Scottish fans.
Neymar there doing very well to win the ball back. Here he comes, he just reads the intentions of Hutton there, gets his body in front, and then his rugby tackled down onto the ground.
I'm sure Scotland would beat Brazil at rugby. line along the 18-yard box. McGregor preferred to Craig Gordon in goal. Left for Neymar. Two Brazilians clattering into each other inside the penalty area and both falling down.
Difficult job, isn't it, for Kenny Miller? Both when his team has the ball, but also when his team doesn't have the ball, because he can't really be expected to really halt the possession of Brazil along the back there. They've got an extra central defender to knock it to. Thiago Silva, Lucio, both comfortable in possession of the ball. It gives them their foundation to bring the ball forward.
I'm sure when Lucas Leiva would have seen as much of the football as he has done in this one. Luis Sao. His proper name of Lucio. Luis Sao, of course, on the bench. Santos continuing the run, gets it back from Neymar, across comes Caldwell. Ramirez against MacArthur. Good strength from the Wigan youngster. Scotland have failed to score in 5 of the last 7 friendlies. They did get 3 in the last game, though, against Northern Ireland last month. Miller, MacArthur, and Chris Commons, now of Celtic, who's on the bench. One of 12 subs for Scotland. Brazil have named 11. Maximum of 6, though, permitted. Good from Hutton. Good to see him back in the Spurs team under Harry Redknapp. Spent time at Sunderland on loan.
Well, I've seen a few back heels, a few tricks and skills from Neymar. Andre Santos, I think, linked up very well on that left-hand side. That's got to please Menezes, I think. And no goals just yet there for those Brazilian fans to applaud.
A lot of the yellow jerseys, the yellow shirts, you can see Scottish away jerseys as well. Attempt to look like Brazil, even though at times they can't really play like Brazil. Every little helps, Robbie. Neymar again coming deep into the hole. Support on this right-hand side from Jadson. Instead goes central, gets it back from Ramirez. Offside flag is up on this near side. Steve Childs. This is flag up, denying Leandro Damião.
Well, it's a good bit of movement here actually from Damião. We haven't seen him pull away from the centre spot again. I mean, I have been super impressed by this player.
He's a menace.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to be impressed. He's been absolutely magnificent here. Great vision and awareness. Gets a little 1-2 back here. There's the first time ball through. Very tight, maybe a fraction offside there. It's Christoph Berra that's holding a line there and got his hand up in the air, but the skills, some of the didn't quite get this one. Not far away, but he has been bright as a button in this first half.
English assistant Steve Childs being sympathetic to the Scottish cause. Stephen Craney unable to keep that one in play. Julio Cesar reintroduced the spherical object, also known as a football. He hasn't seen too much of that. Well, they're here to enjoy themselves. Remember, 130,000 is the estimate of Brazilians in London. 35,000. A lot of these members of the Tartan Army deciding to get a close view of the boat race yesterday, Robbie. Standing on Putney Bridge enjoying them.
Fantastic. Oxford versus Cambridge. I'm assured that Oxford won, which is my hometown city, so I'm very pleased about that.
Never understood why you couldn't get an each-way bet in the boat race. Ramirez. Andre Santos again pacing the flank. In for Neymar. What tricks has he got up his sleeve this time? That is some trick! and that is some goal. Brazil take a deserved lead over Scotland at the Emirates, and who else? It had to be him, the 19-year-old Neymar.
Well, now they've got something to cheer about. How much is it that Chelsea have bid for this player? Because they're going to up their bid, there's no question. Everybody, including me, thought there was going to be a little bit of skill here, a trick to get past the defending player. Not this time. Neymar decides with the early strike inside of his right foot there, just strokes the ball, passes the ball into the corner. Again, it's progressive play up the left-hand side, a lovely pullback here. He just pulls the trigger very early. The goalkeeper, Alan McGregor, can't really get himself set to make the move, to make the dive across to his left-hand side here. Look at this, he just used the defender Caldwell as a little shield for the goalkeeper and just feels that ball into the corner. It's a lovely goal.
Well, Chelsea offered 35 million last July. Santos held a board meeting. They took a chance. They thought they could get at least $50 million. Now, the bidding may start at 50 million.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's been by far the best player out there, and as we talked about, Menezes is looking for the next, superstar player. Well, Neymar, at the age of 19, looks like he could be that guy.
Elano from distance, well watched by Alan McGregor. Neymar scored in his international debut for Brazil against the United States in New Jersey at the Meadowlands last August. 2 goals in 3 appearances. That's not a bad strike rate. No wonder she's happy. Maybe that'll force Scotland out of the shell a little bit more. Brown clattered by Andre Santos, who set up the goal for Neymar. And the two combine once again. Well, it's been a tag that's been flung about Brazil over the years, the next Pelé. Just desperate to have a successor to the throne. Far too early to tell if that's the case with Neymar, but the early signs look good.
Yeah, they do, and it's not just about Pelé, it's about other, talented forwards that they've had, whether it's a Kaká, whether it's a Pato is another player that's coming into that category, but Ronaldinho as well. That's the players that Brazilians, well, that's the ones that the fans love to see, and you often think at the moment, well, who's the next one's coming through? Neymar, Robinho is kind of, reaching the not the twilight almost of his career. You need new blood coming through to show that type of ability, and Neymar, certainly as we've seen in this game, has got that type of talent.
As much as he says he admires Pelé, Neymar has grown up watching videos and DVDs of Garrincha as the player he's trying to base his style on. A little bird. There he was.
Scotland just a little punch drunk at the moment, just kind of finding their defensive zones, no real pressure on the ball. You kind of get disheartened when you try and do that mark, and Brazil knock the ball around you a couple of times. It puts you off going to pressurise the ball that much.
2 additional minutes indicated by 4th official Lee Probert. There will be changes for Scotland in the second half, and there will be a debut for Craig McHale-Smith, the Peterborough striker, who up until last Thursday was planning to watch this game on television. Born in Watford, his gran is Scottish. McHale-Smith called into the side and the squad, and will make his debut in the second half. Friday night as well for Peterborough, League One at Bristol Rovers. Can Scotland get something before the half-time whistle? James MacArthur, Alan Hutton. Strength from Ramirez. Scott Brown feels he won the ball. Howard Webb has brought it back, not for that challenge, but for the initial tug of the jersey.
Well, that's where he's of real value, Ramirez, is his athleticism. Good pace, great stamina, can run all day long for you. Ramirez, not the most creative midfield player in the world, but certainly an effective one.
Yeah, I know you think that Chelsea overpaid when they gave Benfica $28 million for Ramirez, but he has taken time to settle. Maybe now we'll see why that money respect. James Morrison. So Scotland need to do more of, if they can in the second half. Keep the ball, but that is easier said than done against Brazil. Kenny Miller is possessed by Lucio. Half-time at the Emirates Stadium in London on ESPN. Brazil leading Scotland by a 1-0. Neymar with his second international goal. Leandro Damião hitting the bar with the header. Dominance from Brazil. Work to be done at the break for Craig Levine.
Yeah, lots of work to be done. I'd like to see him make some changes. I'd like to see him change his system. The 5 across midfield, hasn't really worked. They might as well put another forward up there and give Brazil something to worry about.
We'll look back at yesterday's action, including Wales-England, when we come back on ESPN.
Here we go, the main event. Number 2 looking to be number 1. Ryan Villapana wins in the high blood. Is James Stewart back? You bet he is. Ryan Dungey has done it. Chad Reed, what a year it has been. It's over. Oh, here he comes. He's not done. Dungey going for it. He takes the win.
On Thursday, April 7th, a marquee matchup. Chelsea face Manchester United in a crucial Leg 1 clash, live from Stamford Bridge.
Hernandez! Well done, Chelsea.
Chelsea, Man United, April 7th. The UEFA Champions League, quarterfinals Leg 1. Exclusively live on ESPN.
Today is the day of the Lynn Combine Derby, where we take old combines out of the field and take them to town and crash them up for fun.
Lynn's population normally is around 565 people, but during this Combine Demolition Derby weekend, we grow to about 5,000.
You got almost like 30,000 pounds coming together, so it's quite an impact.
Welcome to the 2010 Lynn Combine Demolition Derby.
Yeah, the Derby consists of 3 initial heats.
Team to beat always there, and it's probably well known as Jaws. They've been here competing over 10 years, and I think out of the 10 years, they've won it 7 times.
Everybody goes after Jaws. I'm coming for you, Jaws.
After the 3rd heat, we'll pull the combines back to the back into the pit area. It's really hectic back there in the pits.
Broke the frame in 2, cutting the whole frame away. Who knows?
The number 8 Jaws has pulled his flag. I took first. It's top. I'm the king. I had to beat Jaws to finally knock him off. It's a wonderful feeling.
All season long, teams both great and small have fought across Europe in one of the most competitive tournaments in club football. Now, with just 8 teams left, old grudges are settled, new rivalries are forged, and all sights are set on Dublin. The UEFA Europa League quarterfinals begin April 7th, live on ESPN and ESPN2.
Well, a familiar scene at the Emirates. Brazil leading to 0. They've done so in 9 of 12 friendlies since 2009. And here's how they've done so in the first half. In the 19th minute, the first look at goal for Jadson.
Yeah, nice football again from Brazil, this time on the right-hand side. Never really gets hold of this shot. It's a fairly comfortable save for McGregor.
In the second corner, Brazil had Elano's delivery. Leandro Damião coming close, just not getting up high enough to get over it.
Well, he gets up pretty high, Mark. Look at the jump here. Uses his arms to leverage. He's a foot above everybody else there. Very unlucky there. Can't direct his header down.
Scotland had one chance. from the Charlie Adam free kick. Stephen Whittaker, who scores in big games, has done for Rangers against Sporting Lisbon on 2 occasions. Got some on it, not enough.
Yeah, it's very difficult. We've got him in between 2 Brazilian players.
And approaching half-time, Andre Santos down the left into the player of the half. And what a finish from Neymar.
Well, it's a great goal, it's a great finish. You look at the defending, you see Gary Cardwell facing up Neymar, thinking he's probably going to run at me here. I'm not going to get too tight. And that just maybe allows a little bit of space for him to get the shot away. It's a lovely finish in the corner.
He's player of the tournament in the South American Youth Cup in Peru, where he got 9 in 9 recently, Neymar. We've seen why he's that good. Now, when we come back, as well as Wales-England, we're going to head to the Meadowlands. USA faced Argentina last night. Find out how they got on when we come back.
Playback ESPN, Major League Soccer, Galaxy versus Sounders.
And the artillery for Seattle. Outswinger! Oh, and a fine save by Josh Saunders. There was confusion in the Galaxy defence. David Beckham surveying the scene. Putting that right foot into work. Kerr across to meet it. And it just clipped the top of the net on his way through. Juninho, it's opened up for the shot. And he's done it! Some Brazilian magic from Juninho, and LA have come to Quest Field and silenced the Sounders crowd again. Oh, it's on for Donovan, who's in the clear. Landon Donovan off the crossbar. It's a second chance though. Freddie Montero driving it in. Safe pair of hands from Sounders, and that's it. It's the 5th consecutive victory for this Galaxy side over the Sounders. They've come and done it again.
National pride takes the field as some of the world's best gear up for a friendly test.
Persistence paying off.
Don't miss Ireland, Uruguay, live Wednesday on ESPN2. The ATP World Tour Masters 1000 leaves the California desert and heads to one of the most anticipated stops on the tour, the Sony Ericsson Open. All of the top 10 ranked men of the ATP lead an amazing field in the sizzling South Beach sun. The Sony Ericsson Open continues live tonight on ESPN.
Isn't it great? Lee, Lincecum? Who would have ever thought that the Giants and Rangers would meet in the World Series? No one, I mean no one, gave them a shot at the beginning of the season. 2 underdogs going all the way. I guess you just never know how it's going to turn out.
The San Francisco Giants are the 2010 World Champions.
A triple header on opening day. Live Friday on ESPN. More choice.
Holy Snuggies! Towering header from the big man.
Our sport is going through the roof. More live. More of the best of international sport.
Rafa Stylish. Unbelievable. The Lakers have won.
ESPN2.
It's a playoff preview when the 4th-seeded Magic head to Atlanta to face the 5th-seeded Hawks. It's the NBA, where the superstars play. Live Thursday on ESPN, your NBA destination.
The last time Brazil played at the Emirates in March last year, a year ago, they beat the Republic of Ireland by 2-0, and they're halfway there at half-time. Euro 2012 qualifying action on Saturday at the Millennium Stadium. Wales against England. Penalty for you, Robbie?
I think it was, yeah. Just a little clumsy here from James Collins. He slips and gets the wrong side of Ashley Young there. Then just kind of a couple of touches there. A little clumsy. Frank Lampard's the man.
Missed many from the spot, sending Wayne Hennessy the wrong way. 1 quickly became 2. Ashley Young finds Darren Bent. That was game over.
Well, it was, and that was the easiest part, really, the tap into the back of the net. It was a lovely ball from Ben Johnson for Ashley Young.
Early stages of Germany against Kazakhstan and Kaiserslautern, and an early goal. Miroslav Klose getting the final touch.
Keeps doing, doesn't it? Keeps scoring goals for the national team.
Second goal after 24.5 minutes. Another free kick Ozil finds Thomas Müller. And it was 3 before the break. Poor clearance from Kazakhstan. Back in by Mesut Ozil. And there was Thomas Müller again. You can't give him that space.
Absolutely, a nice little ball chipped in the middle there from Mesut Ozil.
The icing on the cake, 2.5 minutes from full time. A shambles in defence for Kazakhstan. Miroslav closer with the tap. Here's the scores from around the Euro 2012 qualifiers. Friday, Spain coming from behind against the Czech Republic. Good win for Italy. Diego Motta with the goal. Ljubljana against Slovenia. Republic of Ireland made to sweat by Macedonia after an early 2-0 lead. Surprise there, Croatia losing in Georgia.
Yeah, I think that's the one that, look, I'm trying to look for any surprises anywhere. There wasn't really that many. Most of the big nations got their victory, got their 3 points. Croatia there, that is an awful, awful result for them. I mean, not long ago, they were a really, really strong team in European football.
Coming up on Tuesday on ESPN, Lithuania against Spain in Group I from Kaunas in the Balkans. 3 Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania. Now, what a crowd in attendance at the Meadowlands. The new Meadowlands Stadium in New Jersey. Argentina against the United States of America. Lionel Messi involved and eventually put into the roof of the net by Esteban Cambiasso.
Yeah, it seemed the goal was coming in this game for long, long periods. Absolutely dominated the game, Argentina, in the first half. And now you see the equalising goal.
It had to be Agudelo, didn't it? The New York Red Bulls striker. Plays alongside Thierry Henry, got the equaliser. That's what Scotland need in this one. Because that is the goal that separates the two sides. From Neymar to the delight of Manu Menezes, the second half. Coming up live on ESPN.
Thursday, April 7th, a marquee matchup. Chelsea face Manchester United in a crucial Leg 1 clash, live from Stamford Bridge.
Hernandez! Well done, Chelsea.
Chelsea, Man United, April 7th, the UEFA Champions League, quarterfinals Leg 1, exclusively live on ESPN.
Hello, Nation. I'm Colin. She's Michelle. This is Sports Nation, the show that wishes it was taped down under.
That's right. Thanks for watching ESPN2. Welcome to Studio B, the place where they let us do almost anything we want. We wear pirate costumes. Arr!
Make us your home for American sports and the best video the internet has to offer.
That's right. Thanks, mates. Is that a good one?
Not bad.
Good day.
All season long, teams both great and small have fought across Europe in one of the most competitive tournaments in club football. Now, with just 8 teams left, old grudges are settled. New rivalries are forged and all sights are set on Dublin. The UEFA Europa League quarter-finals begin April 7th, live on ESPN and ESPN2.
Star of the show in the first half, the confidence of youth at 19. Hopefully that's never knocked out of him, but the way he plays, I don't think it will be. He's had plenty of touches of the ball. Kenny Miller, on the other hand, the striker at the other end, 7 touches of the ball in the first half for the Scotland captain.
Yeah, I mean, that is an incredible stat. I mean, it really is. 45 minutes of football, you've only touched the ball for 7 times, and that's amazing. And that is not good, and really, Craig Levein, I think, has to try and get this Scottish team to get a little bit more on the front foot.
He's never going to name 3 strikers on the pitch at one stage, Craig Levein. But if he was to go for it, is this a Brazilian side that would rip them apart?
Well, possibly, but I mean, they've had 5 across midfield, Mark, and at times they've been ripped apart. Why not just go with the 4 across there and put another forward player up there as a target? And Brazil is such a good side, they'll find a way against any system.
I haven't got anybody picking up Neymar, and off the crossbar, nearly getting his second. He comes deep, no one picks him up. There's an argument that Charlie Adams should be in that position, but he'd gone forward.
Yeah, it's clever the way he's doing it. He's only young, but he certainly knows how to find space, how to receive the ball, and then turn. That's what he wants to do. He comes away from his fullback. That's what happens. And Alan Hutton has a nightmare of a job thinking, well, shall I go with him in there? If I go with him, I leave space for a fullback or another player to run into. It's very intelligent play from Neymar.
Is there an argument for putting someone on as a man-to-man? Before that, Ramirez could be in for a second, and Alan McGregor denies Neymar and then denies Leandro Damião. Horrid defending from Scotland, and Alan McGregor lets his defenders know exactly what he thinks.
Well, he's just saved the team. It's James MacArthur that comes a long way back here to get involved. I'm not sure why he's coming there. There's no defenders anywhere near. And Ramirez can't connect with Neymar at the end there. And Damião comes in to try and score.
Should it have been given to MacArthur in the first place?
Well, possibly not if he's around pressure. I mean, it's just an unusual situation. You know, the defenders obviously had split in that situation, and MacArthur came to try and get on the ball.
Let off another one for Scotland. Second half begins where the first half left off. Plenty possession for the Samba superstars. Scotland don't have a nickname.
I mean, Stephen Whittaker there we see on the left-hand side. He's a left midfield player. I saw him as a left back really throughout that first half. A little bit like the other side, Scott Brown playing ahead of Alan Hutton. Never really saw them make any kind of runs forward in support of Kenny Miller.
Look at Neymar's starting position wide on the left-hand side, withdrawn, the positions he gets himself into.
Well, it changes. He has a responsibility to the team to find a defensive spot when Scotland have possession. As soon as it turns over, and it's a different ball game, he then is thinking about himself getting involved and receiving the ball.
There's been a common thread in the 9 previous meetings of blue shirts chasing yellow shirts. Olays from the Tartan Army every time Scotland keep the ball. At least they've not lost their sense of humour. And then a boo once Brazil get the ball back. Scott Brown giving away to Neymar, didn't even look. Dani Alves. Haven't seen too much of Jadson.
Olano here as well on the right-hand side of the midfield. 3 for Brazil has been okay. He's kept the ball all right. I know we keep talking about Neymar, Mark, and I'm getting fed up with his name already, but he really has been the difference of turning kind of possession into attacks. That's basically the key for Brazil. The other players, I mean, even the striker hasn't done that much. Jadson kind of been busy around the midfield. Here he is dropping deep here, but you know, the creative part hasn't been from those players. Again now, Neymar, number 11 here in space.
In his first game, Manu Menezes, after replacing Dunga following the World Cup, he only picked 4 players from that squad against the USA. It's been all change. Brazilians, and 1 or 2 familiar faces, including Dani Alves. Ramirez allowed space. Dealt with by James Morrison. Scott Brown. Caldwell, it wasn't a good pass for Charlie Adam. Loves getting possession, Charlie Adam. Loves spraying the ball about, but doesn't particularly like having to do so along his own 18-yard box.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to try and get the ball at all times here. He'll show for those defending players who make himself available, but what he needs, Mark, he needs some targets. Here again, he's behind the play here as he receives now. He needs players, he needs runners, there you go.
Haven't seen that since the opening 5 minutes from Charlie Adam. Not a bad attempt. Stephen Whittaker, I thought, very versatile Stephen Whittaker. Started off as a right back at Hibernian. Can play on either side, defence and in midfield.
You look at those wide players though, Whittaker and Scott Brown, not a lot of talent there really, is there, in terms of taking players on or creativity.
Whittaker penalised for the challenge on Dani Alves that he thought was fair.
Well, we get a look here in super slow motion. You can see he reaches in there and takes the ball away from Dani Alves. Now, does he make big contact with the player first? I don't think he does, in all fairness.
Dani Alves recently agreeing a new deal at Barcelona. Whittaker of Glasgow Rangers. Well, Peter Houston's seen the sun in La Manga. It only came out on Friday. Scott's squad spent the week in Spain, training base in La Manga. The backroom staff went to watch the Spanish against the Czech Republic in Granada on Friday night. Thiago Silva. They have the ability, the Brazil team, to make it look like they've always got more players than the opposition. Their movement's fantastic. This is Jadson. Dani Alves. Ramirez. Top tier.
Well, they craft this chance so well, don't they, Brazil? The football they play right through the middle, through the heart of Scotland's midfield. Then, of course, they've got all the space in the wider areas. Dani Alves forever gets forward on that right-hand side, and that's where he needs to improve, doesn't he, Ramirez? Bags of space there. Probably 12 yards out there. Actually could have controlled the ball, Ramirez. It was a loose shot over the top.
His second Chelsea goal recently, first against Bolton in January. Not renowned as a goal scorer. Thankfully for Scotland. Stephen Whittaker, Stephen Craney haven't teamed up that often down the left-hand side. Whittaker trying to be Brazilian. There is a website, you know, that you can go to and you can get your Brazilian name. If you're Scottish, it's probably the closest that Stephen Whittaker will come.
There, see there, Ramirez just thinking, you know, if he did become a good finisher, if he improved his goal scoring, what a player he could be, because he's got the energy to get up and down, no problem at all. It's just getting the composure and maybe the technical ability as well in those situations to stick the ball away.
Brazil, of course, will be one of the favourites for the Copa America, which takes place in July in Argentina, in a group with Paraguay, Ecuador and Venezuela. They should get through that without too many problems. Ramirez again getting away from James MacArthur. Neymar with the give and go, doesn't get it back from Milano. Wanting a bit too much time on the ball. Scotland at times. Charlie Adam getting the free kick for the handball.
Well, he can certainly score goals, Elano. Spectacular goals as well. Not surprised he thought about taking a shot there from 25 yards out. It's good play, a little bit of composure here. James Morrison.
That's where it breaks down. Is there an element of seeing the yellow jerseys and immediately giving them too much respect?
I think there is in terms of their general game plan, Mark. I think we've seen a very defensive game plan from Scotland, which is understandable against Brazil. But I think at times, you know, as a coach, you've got to do something different. Is it the waving fan there?
Well, we saw the Brazilian rhythm and then Scottish history. I'd rather see the Brazilians dance than the Scots. I have to say. Born with rhythm. The Brazilians, that is, not the Scots. Away by Charlie Adam.
I think that the brutal truth when you watch a game like this is the difference in technical ability, Mark. And it's been said of British teams many times before that they lack the skills of the South Americans in particular. Well, you know, you're seeing an example of it in this match.
Barry Bannon. Maybe if he changed his surname to Baninho, that might help with his technical ability. But he's a good player, Barry Bannon. Breakthrough at Aston Villa, but has to be a bit out of the picture under Gerard Houllier, now on loan at Leeds United. That'll be the first change of the game, just getting final instructions from Peter Houston. James McArthur, who's a very creative midfielder, but has spent most of his afternoon chasing yellow jerseys.
Barry Bannon, a young player for Scotland, is a lefty. Whether Stephen Whittaker will stay on the left-hand side or whether Barry Bannon will go out there and maybe Whittaker move inside. Very frustrating. You see there the expression of MacArthur. Hardly any kick of the ball, really, chasing shadows for large periods.
Barry Bannon, man of the match in his debut against the Faroes back in November at Pittodrie in Aberdeen. To make an impact on this. Andre Santos. Alves coming infield, challenged by Charlie Adam, illegal. Milano. Now he scored a free kick here for Santos a couple of months ago from a similar distance. Do not be surprised if Milano goes for goal. His run-up will be about as long as the distance it is to the goal.
Well, it's only a two-man wall here from Scotland, which is interesting. Alan McGregor fancies the chance from this range to get himself around the goal wherever the ball goes. All about power here from Milano.
Huge run-up from the former Manchester City midfielder, well watched by Alan McGregor. Couldn't repeat the goal he scored against Colo-Colo.
Well, it's all about getting the right trajectory when he strikes the ball, and it's too low. You see the little bit of dip on the ball, the movement when it was in the air. Obviously it needs to start off a little higher than that, and the swerve and the dip would have given McGregor a few problems.
Barry Bannon, the substitute, chasing down Andre Santos. Alan Hutton. Bannon immediately involved. That's good skill from James Morrison. Again, no end product. Neymar trying to shrug off Bannon. Could quite easily have ended up over the head of Alan McGregor and into the back of the net. Stephen Craney could have been the 2011 version of Tom Boyd. Scored an own goal at the World Cup in the first game in '98 against Brazil.
Marvel, though. Look at Marvel in the Scottish skill here from James Morrison. A little shuffle there in between one. Tries to go past another one here with a drag back. A little unlucky. He wants a free kick and doesn't get it. Good play there from Morrison.
First corner of the second half for Brazil, the fourth in total. As usual, Milano to take. And the header again. The Scots have not learned their lesson with Leandro Damião. He makes good runs.
Yeah, and look at him. Attacks the ball really well. No real close mark in there, is it? Actually, Kenny Miller that's picking him up. I mean, Kenny Miller's not one of the biggest forwards, and Damião is 6'1.5" there. It's a couple of times now he's rose and should have done better. You see the frustration in the face of the Brazilian after putting that header wide.
Here's Damião. This is Jansen. Dani Alves working it well. Clever. Damião at the back post. Good header away. Scottish defence. The little terrier, a Scottish terrier, Scott Brown. And Charlie Adams hurt. Ian Holloway immediately taking a deep breath, the Blackpool manager.
Absolutely is. This player is unbelievably important to Blackpool and their hopes of staying in the Premier League, which would be a remarkable achievement if they managed to do that. I wonder what he's thinking. I'd love to see him bring on another forward mark. They've got plenty of terriers. You've described Scotland's midfield players as being terriers, and he's one, certainly Scott Brown. They've got plenty of those. You see there immediately, isn't it?
It's just a clash of left knees. I hope that isn't an anterior or a medial tweak in his knee. Just over the hour played at the Emirates. Brazil leading Scotland by 1-0. Neymar after 41 minutes. Finish from the cutback from Andre Santos. Mark Donaldson alongside Robbie Mustoe on ESPN. And let's hope this isn't bad news for Charlie Adam from a Blackpool perspective. The flower of Scotland reverberates around the Emirates Stadium. I don't think the Scots will be going back with pieces of turf and crossbars like they did in 1977 at Wembley. Far more civilised these days.
Yeah, and I mean, look at the fan. It's a great atmosphere in there. There's no kind of hostility whatsoever. Two great groups of supporters here enjoying the game. I guess the Brazilians are enjoying it a little bit more than the Scottish fans, but certainly the trip down south for the Scots, they'll be enjoying it.
Motorists are advised to avoid the Arsenal tube station area and the Highbury and Islington tube afterwards. Throngs of Brazilian and Scottish fans mingling as they have done all weekend in London. Great atmosphere it's been in this capital city. Bannon finds Charlie Adam, who thankfully is okay. This is James Morrison. A bit more adventurous from Scotland, and they've got a corner. Biggest cheer of the day from the Tartan Army, reserved for a set piece.
Now finally something to clap and to cheer about for the Scottish fans there. Nice break from James Morrison in midfield. Maybe no surprise, the man who blocked his way there, Ramirez. Great defensive play from him.
Caldwell and Berra have gone forward from the back. The one corner that Scotland get, and the delivery was horrible. Who would have thought it would have been put in like that by Charlie Adam, whose delivery is normally so excellent. Stephen Whittaker. And Alves thought it came back off the Rangers player. Like to see Chris Commons, new lease of life at Celtic. Chris Commons has scored in his last 2 internationals for Scotland. Can he make it 3 in a row? On for Whittaker.
Right, it's more of an attacking move. Chris Commons more of an attacking player, certainly, than Whittaker. Can play as an attacking central midfield player, or on the left-hand side, Chris Commons.
9th cap for Chris Commons. There's 2 goals coming recently in the last 2 games against Northern Ireland and the Faroes. Appeals for a handball. And the last time Scotland scored against Brazil in 1998, it was from the penalty spot in John Collins. Not this time. Ambitious from Bannon. Not sure, we mentioned at half-time Kenny Miller's had 7 touches in the first half. Can you remember a touch in the second half?
I can't know. Thiago Silva, it is the player that just strikes him there. The set pieces we've talked about for Scotland, there's always an avenue of trying to score, but at 1-0, they're still in the game, Scotland. I know they've had hardly any possession, but Brazil will want to score another goal just to give them that insurance policy.
Push Chris Commons up to give Kenny Miller a bit of support. Good pressure on Lucio. Barry Bannon doing well. A nonchalant flick back by Jadson. It's good from Charlie Adam. He has support. Does he want to go himself? Yes, he does. Too much on it. Morrison wanted it played through. Adam wanted his first goal for his country.
Yeah, and I don't blame him for shooting, actually. I'm not sure whether the run from Morrison, it's a good run, but I'm not sure whether the ball is on there for Morrison. Maybe runs into an offside position, takes a shot on there, Charlie Adam. I think he has his head down all the way throughout this as well. He has nothing else on his mind other than to try and shoot and hit the target, though, again, over the top.
That's not how they dress day to day. Wondering. Live up to the stereotype when on duty with the Tartan Army. Kenny Miller putting pressure on Lucio, and that'll be a second corner. Charlie Adam will hope for a better delivery than the first.
Lucio wants a free kick here, thinks he's shoved in the back as that ball goes towards the touchline.
Once again, Berra and Caldwell in an advanced position, partially away by Ilano. Caldwell to Morrison, and this is where the danger. The Scottish defence. And McGregor, though, able to set up another Scottish counter-attack. Better in the last 5 minutes since the change, bringing on Barry Bannon and Chris Commons. Should have Scott Brown felt he could get that. Didn't want to do any damage to Andre Santos. Let's just say if that was an Old Firm game, and the opponent was a Rangers player, I think he would have been fully committed. He's playing higher up the pitch, Scotland. Christophe Berra from centre half a couple of moments ago. He's closing the Brazilians down. Scott Brown. Christophe Berra. Used to be rivals in Edinburgh with Hearts and Hibs. Berra coming out on top more often than not. Charlie Adam again for the run of Chris Commons. The flag going up from Steve Childs on this near side.
Again, it's Commons making the run now down the left-hand side that Charlie Adams trying to play in. He tried to play in Whittaker a few times, never really made that ball work. But there's a little bit more of a sense of an attacking nature to Scotland now. Chris Commons, Barry Bannon's back in midfield there, and just watching Charlie Adams' position in midfield, he's a little bit more willing to play a bit more advanced. I wonder as well if just Brazil might just take the foot off the gas a little bit, Mark. It's been comfortable for them.
There's a lot less zest from the Brazilians in this second half. The main key for them is not to get hurt. Ramirez, this is more like it. Bannon just got a clip of his heels as he was coming through. Good advantage from Howard Webb. So the best of Neymar in the first half.
Well, the Brazilians haven't dominated the possession as much in this second half. That's why we haven't seen Neymar. He hasn't been able to make those runs, receive the ball, because the control of the game hasn't been the same. Scotland much more in it now.
Whacked against the arm of Leandro Damião. Advantage played by Howard Webb. He's taking his eye off that one. Shown plenty of energy since coming on, Chris Commons. Allowing the Brazilians as much time on the ball as they had in the first half. Lucas Leiva. There is another Lucas on the bench. The youngster from Sao Paulo has a $100 million release clause in his contract. That Lucas, along with Neymar, are seen as the next big things. Here is Neymar. Andre Santos. Jadson. Just playing right on the shoulder. Leandro Damião. Stephen Craney. Second corner kick of the second half for Brazil. They're fifth in total.
Yeah, I'd just like to have seen a little bit more of Damião with the ball at his feet. I haven't seen him a couple of headers that he's made, but I haven't seen enough balls in possession just to get a feel of how good he is on the deck, what kind of skill he's got, what moves he's got, what tricks has he got, what kind of pace has he got.
20 minutes remaining at the Emirates. Brazil leading by a goal to nil. Milano's delivery away by Charlie Adam. Dani Alves. He thought about the shot, still has it in his mind. Here is Lucas, right on cue. Sao Paulo youngster. Replacing Jadson. Lucas, who's on FIFA's players to watch list for 2011. He's just under 20 minutes to impress.
Well, let's see what he can do. Only 18 years of age, very young. Lucas, big things expected, as you've said. Jadson kind of in and out of the game for me on that right-hand side. We're kind of interchanging with Elano at times. Never really that creative. Certainly kept the ball well. He's got a chance to look at Lucas now. Three youngsters now. If you look at the attacking players of Brazil, three-pronged attack of Lucas, Damião, and Neymar.
Just to confuse matters even further, there is another Lucas at Sao Paulo who won't be there for much longer. 17-year-old has agreed to join Chelsea. He turns 18 in January. Adams header. This is James Morrison. Tackle by Thiago Silva, who hasn't had too much to do. First involvement for Lucas. This is when the changes really start. Christophe Berra being replaced. And on is coming Danny Wilson, the former Rangers defender, now at Liverpool.
Being replaced by 15, Danny Wilson.
Wilson, the youngest Scottish player to ever have played in the UEFA Champions League. Played against Unaria, Ursa Cheney, November 2009. Bit more experience for the Liverpool youngster.
No, it really is, and I think, you know, I think Levine's doing the right thing, giving a few of these players, younger players in particular, a chance to play here on this stage, on this stadium against Brazil. It really is good experience just to get a feel of what it's like at the highest level of the game.
Ramirez. Keeping it simple, Alan Hutton. Started 12 of the last 17 internationals now. Alan Hutton, a mainstay in Craig Levine's side. Not bad at Tottenham Hotspur either. Neymar. Challenged by Scott Brown. Lucas Leiva.
Brazilian defenders, you know, just looking at Lucio there, Thiago Silva, Dani Alves, they have to be good on the ball because in the Brazilian style of things, they don't have to defend that much. And they always have to be available to pass the ball. Thiago Silva across here to Lucio.
He does have a tendency to look awkward in possession of the football, Lucio, but it's very deceptive. Lucas. Elano. Offside against Dani Alves. Could quite easily been a Liverpool player, Dani Alves. Sevilla agreed to sell him to Liverpool in 2006. Couldn't agree the fee. $12 million was offered. Sevilla wanted more. Been a teammate at club level. Lucas Leiva. Not too bad for himself since, though, Dani Alves.
That's a wonderful player. Sevilla onto Barcelona. Such an important part of the way that they play the game as well for Barca.
Run made by Andre Santos. It's an excellent one. Ramirez. Vicious from Elano. Neymar tripped by Adam. Penalty Brazil. Easy decision for Howard Webb.
Yeah, he knows, doesn't he? He knows Charlie Adam. Just got done with a fantastic bit of quick footwork from Neymar, who's been quiet in the second half there. Just a little step over, change of direction. Great move there, isn't it? Just bundled in from behind there, Charlie Adam. Very cold what is facing the Brazilian attacker. Poor play, actually. Charlie Adam there, didn't need to do that.
Strongly linked with a move to Chelsea. Will he get his second goal of the game? The camera's at the ready. From 12 yards. Neymar scores. Brazil 2, Scotland 0. And the Samba superstars celebrate.
Well, a little bit against the run of play for Brazil. I thought they were just starting to disappoint me in this second half. All of a sudden, though, quick as a flash, Neymar pops up inside the penalty box. We've seen his quick feet throughout this game. And no problem here. Sends Alan McGregor the wrong way. Easy penalty kick for Neymar. So Menezes is delighted now he's got the extra goal. Great player. Not sure about the hair, though, Mark.
He could quite easily have been playing for Santos against Ituano in the Paulista in Brazil. A game taking place today. But on international duty. I think Scotland wished he was still on duty for Santos. "12 minutes to go. Brazil 2, Scotland 0 at the Emirates. A double from Neymar. Mark Donaldson alongside Robbie Mustoe on ESPN. The hope now, from Craig Levine's perspective, will be to try and get a goal. Only 3 Scottish players, Stevie Chalmers, David Neri and John Collins, have scored against Brazil. The danger is they concede a third. Brazil are flying. Opportunity for Lucas. The less said about that, the better.
Yeah, quick break again from Brazil. Jonas there, number 21, into the game. Substitutes coming in very quickly now for both teams.
What will Brazil have learned from this?
Well, they'll certainly learn from the young players. And then it's had a good look at the striker that's just gone off there, Damião. Jonas coming on here, making his debut again. Lucas, same thing. So it's an experiment in some ways in Brazil. It's got some experienced players back there. Lucio back in aside, Thiago Silva, Dani Alves. But also it's been about finding some attacking talent, some young talent, giving them the chance to play in a full international game for Brazil. How can they produce against a strong defensive Scotland side? Neymar's been obviously the star player. Damião showed signs, particularly in the air, of his abilities. Now Lucas. So I think there's certain things that you'll always pick up as a coach when you put a team out there.
Charlie Adam replaced by Robert Snodgrass. Thankfully, it looks like he's going to be okay, and Ian Holloway, the Blackpool manager, can breathe a sigh of relief. First touch for Danny Wilson. As Commons feels the full force of Dani Alves. And Brazil have scored. Dani Alves has scored in the last 2 games. Brazilians have the target, not against France or Argentina. Alves yet to get on the score sheet. It's because Neymar has a double. That's why Brazil lead by 2 goals to 0.
Well, with the substitutions, Mark, they're having a bit of a go now. Scotland getting plenty of people forward. Snodgrass here involved.
Play from Scott Brown. Craney. Snodgrass leaving it for Brown. This is Danny Wilson. Might end up all the way back. They do. Alan McGregor.
Yeah, it looks very much like a 4-4-2 now for Scotland finally, Mark. Snodgrass playing up front with Kenny Miller. It's been a little change in midfield. Bannon now the playmaker in there with Scott Brown, who's moved inside, and James Morrison looks like he's playing on the right-hand side of midfield. So a more attacking change, and I have to say I'd love to have seen it a little earlier from Craig Levein.
Leandro Damião replaced Brazil. Jonas of Valencia. Partner Neymar in attack for the last few moments of this. Nice easy game for Howard Webb to control. It's needless from Adam. Desperate to try and get the ball back. Sometimes you just got to take a step back.
Yeah, nice composure. No problem at all to Neymar, was it?
There's Charlie Adam there alongside Mark Wilson of Celtic. Should be fit for the weekend. Replacement for Brazil sees very talented Atletico Madrid attacking midfielder Elias. Place Santos' Elano. It quite worked for him at Manchester City, did it?
Not really, no, not for a period of time there. Actually, it's a bit of a history with England, with Brazilian players not really settling, particularly the attacking ones in the Premier League. The intensity is so high, it's often difficult to really show your skills in the league. Elias, though, has actually struggled a little bit at Atletico Madrid so far in his career.
Dani Alves. Ultimately crowded out. Robert Snodgrass. Dwelling on that one for far too long. Santos through for Neymar on a hat-trick. Some block by Gary Caldwell. Say what you like about Caldwell, but he'll put his body on the line for his country.
I think he puts his head on the line here, the direct line for me. A little drag, clever little drag here from Neymar, didn't work out, and then the shot comes in, and there he is, he throws his body at it. Gary Caldwell makes the block.
No Elano to take the corner, so Neymar will take the 6th one for Brazil. Away by Hutton and then Commons. Be a useful exercise for Scotland, but just wonder, as we said 5 minutes ago, if Craig Levein in time gone by in the future will think to himself, I wish I'd just gone for it a little bit more. The danger is quite easy. Scotland could have been 4 or 5 down. If he had, you never know. At least they have gone for it in the second half a little bit more.
A little bit more, Mark. Still not enough, in my opinion.
No.
I mean, they've still got plenty of players that can dig in midfield. If it's a 4, they can play narrow. There's even in a 4-4-2, you can drop a striker back a little bit to try and stop this situation happening where Lucas drops back in midfield. So I've been a little disappointed, I have to say.
What a run this is. A layoff from Lucas. Appeals for a penalty off Gary Caldwell's hand. It stopped the shot.
Well, it has to be intentional, a handball. Great run here from Lucas, drives right through the middle. As the shot comes in now, I guess he spreads his arms a touch, and that's what was risky about that move, you know, in maybe a fashion to stop the ball. I think it still would have been harsh, though.
An easy decision not to give it. Had this been a competitive international, a World Cup, then possibly a second penalty wouldn't, probably should have been awarded. But he was in pretty close proximity. Arguments for and against. Lucas Leiva. Chris Santos. Scott Brown eventually closing his legs to avoid the nutmeg. For Jonas. Just wrong footing Alan McGregor.
I think so. I think McGregor wasn't sure that he could get that type of power on the header there. Jonas, a bit of involvement. Dani Alves again, nice ball into the middle. He's got to put all the power on. He's got to snap his head here, and he does. And McGregor just leaves it.
Craig McHale-Smith gets 4 minutes. The Peterborough striker. His Gran Margaret from Edinburgh will be the proudest Gran in the world. It's off. Goes Lucas Leiva. Kenny Miller coming off. He's worked hard, Kenny Miller. He's had hardly any of the ball.
No, he hasn't, but it's great for this player. McHale-Smith, Peterborough United, gets a chance to play at the Emirates against Brazil. Fantastic stuff. So we can get a few touches of the ball before the end.
27 goals for Peterborough this season. Is the 4th English-born player under Craig Levein, after Matt Gilks, Jamie Mackey and Phil Bardsley. He's injured for this one. Sandro on for Lucas Leiva for Brazil.
Sandro's been playing very well, actually, for Tottenham Hotspur. Not come very far for this game at all. North London, Sandro starting to establish himself a little bit with Harry Redknapp in their midfield. It's excellent against AC Milan, the Champions League.
Dilemma for Craig McHale-Smith. End of the game, do you keep the jersey or do you swap it? I know he's got 2 or 3. Scott Brown with a pretty weak effort.
It's an easy answer. You swap
it. Free kick, sorry, Robbie.
Yeah, you swap the shirt. Definitely get a Brazil shirt.
I think that's called sympathy from Howard Webb. Look at Lucio, a professional to the end. Just a little nick from Elias on Scott Brown as he was about to shoot the first instance. I don't think Julio Cesar will need to wash that top.
I'm just thinking the same thing. How many times has he had the ball? How many shots have come in? We saw the header in the first half that didn't hit the target. Other than that, there's been absolutely nothing, has there, from Scotland?
He may be called into action. Stephen Whittaker's diving header wide after 34 minutes. Charlie Adams shot over after 65. That's been it from a Scottish perspective in the final third. Barry Bannon. Does he go for goal? Or does he stand it up to the back post? There's your answer. Pretty comfortable for Julio Cesar.
Good effort, actually, wasn't it, from Bannon? Good effort. Got a lovely left foot, hasn't he? Just not far enough into the corners, is it, for Julio Cesar? Good, a little bit of pace on the ball as well, a bit of whip on it too.
Good workout for Mano Menezes' side. I'm glad he's being substituted because he'll get the ovation that he deserves, Neymar. That's what you call an appreciative booing from the Scotland fans.
Yeah, I mean, he's made all the difference in this game. There's absolutely no question about that. A wonderful strike for the first goal, gets brought down for the penalty kick, then gets up and sticks it in the corner. A real star of the future, there's absolutely no question about that.
Brazil face the Netherlands in a friendly in June. 53,087 in attendance, more than 35,000 Scots, decent number of Brazilians, a few neutrals as well. Will they have enjoyed this, the neutrals?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, why not? It's been fascinating stuff at times, particularly the first half of Brazil. Some of the football they played, the movement, the interchange of positions, I thought was excellent.
I'm not sure if Craig McHale-Smith has or will get a touch since coming on. 2 additional minutes remaining of this one at the Emirates.
And for Scotland as well, it's, you know, it's easy to forget, but it's all about the European Championships, and this has been a good exercise, a glamour friendly, if you like, but it's all about the game against the Czech Republic, isn't it, Mark? That's a massive game at home that they have to win if they want to finish second, and then a chance through a playoff, probably, of getting into the European Championship finals, which are in Poland, Ukraine. So that really is what it's all about for Scotland in these next few months.
Let's win or bust both home games against the Czech Republic and Lithuania in 3 days in September. Prior to that, Brazil in Copa America action. Group stage against Venezuela, Paraguay and Ecuador. And the Brazil World Tour continuing on ESPN in June against the Netherlands. Will they get a third? It's onside and it's over. What a chance for Jonas on his debut.
Well, it's a chance that he has to score, but I love the play here from Lucas. Absolutely brilliant here, good strength, driving through the middle, but that reverse ball there, the vision to pick out Jonas, the striker, was excellent. Wow, Brazilian striker from what, 10 yards out, can't hit the target. That's a poor effort.
James Morrison, placed by the former Inverness Caledonian Thistle midfielder, and now at Watford, Don Cowie. Another player who probably won't get a touch of the ball. Kenny Miller was on for 80 minutes and hardly got any touches of the ball. It's not something you get when you play Brazil. They've been utterly dominant. Quite easily have scored more than the 2 that they have. Sandro, good strength. Ramirez has made his run into the area. This is excellent from Sandro. Stood up. Hutton, partial clearance. Well, describe that in less than 5 words, Robbie Mustoe.
Not very good, how about that?
Well, plenty Brazil tops on show. There is a Scotland fan in attendance who has a t-shirt which has number 10 on the back and belly instead of Pele. Not losing his sense of humour.
Now, you'll never take that away from the Scotland fans here as the final whistle blows.
A good workout for both sides. Applause from Craig Levine. No goals, but a great experience for the Scotland backroom staff, the players and the Tartan Army. Who knows in future, this is the man we may be talking about so much more. Neymar, 19 years old, 3 caps, 3 goals for his country. He's back off to play for Santos now. You may be seeing him on ESPN playing for Chelsea within the next couple of years. I'm sure though there'll be plenty other teams who'll be interested in the prodigiously talented youngster. Job done for Brazil. Neymar at the double, and success at the Emirates for the Samba Stars. Highlights of this when we come back on ESPN.
It's a playoff preview when the 4th-seeded Magic head to Atlanta to face the 5th-seeded Hawks. It's the NBA, where the superstars play. Live Thursday on ESPN, your NBA destination.
Are you a big fan of cricket? Then log on to ESPN's cricinfo.com, the place to go for everything from the world of cricket. Current series, countries, live scores, results, news, features and more. Check out the perfect site for fans and follow all day long. ESPN's crickinfo.com. It's a keeper.
Play ESPNU College Town at BeTheDean.com and put your school on the map. ESPNU College Town. Build it, run it, beat your friends.
Isn't it great? Lee, Lincecum? Who would have ever thought that the Giants and Rangers would meet in the World Series? No one, I mean no one, gave them a shot at the beginning of the season. Two underdogs going all the way. I guess you just never know how it's going to turn out.
The San Francisco Giants are the 2010 World Champions.
A triple header on opening day. Live Friday on ESPN.
Did the road towards Euro 2012 get just a little clearer for the likes of England, Ireland, Italy and Spain? Join us for a full hour as we break down all the qualifying action on the next ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass. Andrew Orsatti, Shaka Hislop and Gab Marcotti on board.
Here we go, the main event. Number 2 looking to be number 1. Ryan Villapana wins in the high blood. Is James Stewart back? You bet he is. Ryan Dungey has done it. Chad Reed, what a year it has been. It's over. Oh, here he comes. He's to go. Not done. Dungey going for it. He takes the win.
National pride takes the field as some of the world's best gear up for a friendly test.
Persistence paying off.
Don't miss Ireland, Uruguay, live Wednesday on ESPN2. The ATP World Tour Masters 1000 leaves the California desert and heads to one of the most anticipated stops on the tour, the Sony Ericsson Open. All of the top 10 ranked men of the ATP lead an amazing field in the sizzling South Beach sun. The Sony Ericsson Open continues live tonight on ESPN.
Brazil still unbeaten against Scotland. 10 meetings now, 8 wins and just 2 draws. And they've outscored the Scots by 16 goals to 3. Here's how they did it. 90 minutes on the watch. And the first chance of the game falling to Jadson, Robbie.
Yeah, nice football from Brazil through the middle. And Jadson, who I thought was kind of in and out of the game, didn't really do a lot there. It's a reasonable shot.
Scotland didn't have too many attempts. Stephen Whittaker far away with that effort.
Yeah, just attacks it there at the near post. I mean, he's struggling to get any contact on the ball there. It goes wide. Other than that, I think there's hardly anything from Scotland in the first half.
Spoke a lot about Neymar, and this is why, set up by Andre Santos. How about that for a finish?
Yeah, it's a great finish and a great goal, and it grabbed the headlines, but there was other bits to this play, not just the goals, but some of the skills and some of the moves, and his movement as well for a young player were outstanding here. Just thinks, okay, I got a little bit of time here, my body's moving to my left, I can bend it round Godwell into the corner.
Start of the second half, a mistake by James McCarthy. Alan McGregor not happy, but wasn't the best kick out from the goalkeeper, putting his midfielder under immediate pressure.
Yeah, he's right under pressure there, but then just does well here to get the hand across to stop this potential goal for Brazil.
Second goal, and Charlie Adam penalised for the foul. Similar to yesterday at the Emirates, challenged by James Collins.
It was actually, yeah, from behind there, little chip on Neymar, and of course there's no problem here. There's no panic in the eyes or nervousness about Neymar as he steps up as a young man. Penalty kick, no problem. 2-0 to Brazil.
9-9 for Brazil at the South American Youth Cup in Peru recently. And Neymar makes it 3-3 for Brazil. 3 caps and now 3 goals. Expect to hear a lot more about the Santos youngster in the future. Talking of talent, David Villa and his friends face Lithuania. Don't expect a full Spain side against Lithuania. There will be some players arrested, but it will be a decent Spanish side in action against Lithuania on Tuesday. Check your listings. Ronaldo's team of old had fun. This is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Brazil victorious thanks to Neymar. Scotland's weight for a result against the Samba Stars continues. For Robbie Mustoe, I'm Mark Donaldson. Thank you for watching and keep it tuned to ESPN.
Hi there, welcome to SportsCenter. A new Brazilian football star, Aussie Mark Leishman, charges for victory on the PGA Tour. A feature with Yankee legend Derek Jeter as well. Anthony Howard with Tiny for the next half hour.
Yep, we're going to start with college hoops, which captures the nation this time of the year in the form of March Madness. After the Sweet 16, this is the Elite 8. Kansas, and a team that wasn't supposed to make it this far. VCU looking for a spot in the Final Four. Kansas, the last remaining #1 seed in the tournament, but playing sloppy basketball early on. In fact, 9 turnovers in the first half alone. VCU trying to become just the third 11th seed to crack the Final Four. They're going about it the right way. A 3-point barrage in the first half. We have a little montage for you. And how about one more from downtown? In fact, VCU, 9 3-pointers in the first half. They're up by 14 at the break. How would Kansas respond? That was the big question. Well, they responded well. Marcus Morris Minor inside. He had 20 points, 16 rebounds. Moments later, Taylor with the flush. Suddenly, the Jayhawks edging back, down by just 7. Under 11 to go. VCU up by 6. Make it 9. Steen had a great game. 26 points, 9 boards. VCU not backing down. In fact, going ahead.